Let's begin this half hour, though, with that story that horrified people across the country. The Connecticut woman who lost her 3 young daughters and her parents when a fire engulfed their home on Christmas morning. Madonna Badger has never spoken publicly until today. In an exclusive interview, she tells her story of unimaginable loss, profound courage, and also her own search for the truth. Do you find yourself in the middle of a day, Madonna, saying, wow, the last 5 minutes I laughed a little, or I was able to smile, or it wasn't in the front of my mind, maybe it was in the back of my mind for a while? Do you have those moments?
Yes, and at first, the first time I smiled or the first time I laughed, I felt so bad, you know.
Guilty?
Yeah, of course.
But also still looking for answers about what happened 6 months ago at her stately home in Stamford, Connecticut. Her 3 daughters were there, 9-year-old Lily, and the twins, Grace and Sarah, age 7. Her parents, too, both retired. Her dad loved to play department store Santa.
He would come home and tell us all the stories, you know, of all these children and what they had said and how much Santa loved them.
What was he like as a grandfather to Lily, Grace, and Sarah?
I mean, you know, he was amazing.
Then there was Madonna's new boyfriend, Michael Borsina, the contractor who'd renovated her home. All of them together, Christmas Eve.
The girls were so excited, and we started a fire in the afternoon, you know, got ready for Christmas. Gracie decorated the dining room table. And I had all those little candles, you know, that you turn on. Not the fire kind, but to be safe.
Right. What time did the girls go to bed?
I mean, it was pretty late. I want to say 9 or 9:30. And then we went upstairs, and Mike read The Grinch Who Stole Christmas. Gracie had already kicked me out by then. Grace had a very kind of set way that she liked to go to sleep, and Lily and Sarah slept in the same bed. And so I laid down with them and just chatted and talked and, you know, told them I loved them.
Once the kids were asleep, Madonna and Michael wrapped presents for several hours.
Back to the fire for a second, the fireplace. The last log was put on the fire at about 8 o'clock in the evening.
Right before dinner.
One of the stories that came out the day after this fire was that your girls had thought, wait a minute, Santa's not going to be able to get down the chimney if there are ashes and embers in that chimney. We've got to get those out of there. Is that what happened?
I don't know where that came from.
It's not the truth.
No. Mm-mm.
But she says Michael did sweep the hearth at about 3:30 a.m.
Mike started cleaning up those ashes on the hearth, put them in a brown bag.
Are we talking about ashes, or are we talking about embers? How would you describe what he put in that bag?
I saw them as ashes that were in the front of the fireplace. But I know that I watched him take them with his hand, the shovel, and put them into the bag. I watched him put his hands in the bag.
So he's putting his hands in the bag now to feel.
To make sure that there's nothing on fire in the bag.
And you watched him do that?
Oh, yeah.
So the ashes in that brown bag were then placed where?
They were placed on top of one of the plastic bins that we'd brought in. And that bin was then placed in the mudroom.
A long night winding down.
We had a piece of apple pie, and we sat on the sofa. The fireplace is here, and the Christmas tree was over here. And all the presents were there, and the stockings were there. And then we went to bed. And as I was going up the stairs, I saw the plastic box there on the floor. And I saw the bag on top. And I remember thinking to myself, I should put that outside. I should put that outside. And then I remember thinking, no, but I watched him put his hands through it.
So you thought there was no danger?
No danger.
About 4 a.m. now, she and Mike went to sleep in separate rooms.
My bedroom was on the second floor in the front of the house, and my two guest rooms, basically, were also on the second floor. So I'm asleep here, my mom and dad are asleep here, and Mike is in the back left-hand corner on the second floor. And on the third floor were 3 little bedrooms, and Grace claimed the turret. And those 3 bedrooms was all pink and white and
perfect little girls' rooms.
That's what I thought.
She slept for less than an hour.
I woke up and I was choking, and I couldn't breathe, choking, and I realized there was a fire.
As you woke up choking, Madonna, because of the smoke, did you hear smoke detectors? Did you hear smoke alarms?
No.
Anything going off in that house?
Nothing. It was silent. I got down on my knees and I got out the front window because I couldn't breathe at all. And now I'm on the front porch. So the porch of the house went around the house. And so I had to make a decision, because the windows there were my mom and dad's windows. So I had to decide, do I go in and save them, or do I go save my children? And so I ran the other way to save my children. And the house had scaffolding.
From the renovations?
On the outside of the turret. So I scrambled up the scaffolding to get to Grace's window. And I opened that window, and the smoke that hit me, it was just the blackest, like an ocean. And it was twirling, and there was embers and all kinds of stuff in it. And I kept trying to hold my breath and put my head in. And I did that like 3 or 4 times, and I couldn't get in. I couldn't get in the window. And I'm just screaming for somebody to come and help me. And then I saw the fire trucks coming. And then Mike fell out of the back window, the back bedroom window. And he was running around the house, and his eyes were shut, and because they had been burned shut. And he was running all around the yard, you know, screaming, jump to me, girls, where are you? And that's when the firemen dragged me off the porch.
So at any time when you opened the window, did you get a glimpse of any of your girls?
No, it was so black. It was the blackest smoke I've ever seen. No. If I could have seen them, I would have gone in. I mean, it's impossible to describe how it is that you can't go in and save your own children, but I couldn't get through that smoke. I couldn't.
Did you ever hear your mom and dad? Did you yell to them?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was screaming so loudly, they heard me a block over.
You were taken to the emergency room, as was Mike. Can you describe the scene? Can you describe what you remember lying on that bed in the emergency room?
I mean, it was, you know, it was surreal. And I'm just yelling and yelling and yelling and yelling, you know, where are my parents? Where are my babies? Where are my babies? And they're like, we don't know, we don't know, we don't know, ma'am, we don't know, we don't know.
She says it took 3 hours before a doctor gave her the news.
She took Mike's hand and she took my hand and put them together, you know, and she said, and she held them. And she said, your 3 children are gone, and probably your mom and dad, but we don't know that for certain. And then, oh my God, I couldn't believe it. And I said, please, 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 let me call somebody, let me call somebody.
Her children and parents dead of smoke inhalation. She called close friends. She called her ex-husband, the girl's father.
I said, bring everybody. The children are gone. My mom and dad are gone. There's been a fire. Just please come and help me. You know, because I was so scared.
10 days after the fire, she spoke at the funeral of Lily, Grace, and Sarah.
How did you show up there? How did you manage to eulogize your daughters so soon after their death? Where'd you find the strength?
I don't know. I think it was all God's grace. I have no idea.
My little girls are not gone from us entirely, because my girls are in my heart.
But even in her grief, questions. Why didn't the smoke alarms go off?
My understanding was that I had inoperable fire and smoke alarms.
You tested the wired smoke detectors?
Yes.
Why this memory from the morning of the fire?
I ran to the edge of my house and I looked down to the left. And there I saw a little bit of flame, but mostly just sparks everywhere.
And above all, why was her house torn down the day after the fatal blaze?
I need to know the truth.
I want to tell you that the Lily Sarah Grace Fund has been set up in honor of the Badger girls to support the arts in underfunded public elementary schools across America. The information is on our website, today.com. I'm going to have more with Madonna Badger and look more closely at her unanswered questions tonight on Rock Center with Brian Williams at 10, 9 Central Time here on NBC, plus more of our interview tomorrow morning here on Today.